Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We are back with a Thursday night special. We've gone early this week and we're going to be chatting a little bit about some of the friendlies in pre-season so far. We're going to talk a little bit about captaincy, but also we're going to be showing you a Threemium draft. It looks good. We've got all the main bases covered. But first and foremost, introducing my co-host this evening, Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, I mean, the reason we are doing an earlier show is because of me. I won't be here tomorrow. I'll be on an aeroplane this time tomorrow. So that's why we're here early. So thanks for
Where are you
catering
off
to
to?
me. I'm off to San Diego. So, yeah,
Oh,
a few weeks stateside. Getting to a couple of games too while I'm there. So
yeah.
that should be good. Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I'm going to be obviously
How
deep in
long's
it.
the
Yeah,
flight? Is
the
it, is
flight.
it is it is it direct? You can't go direct to
You
San
can go
Diego, can
direct
you?
to San
You
Diego
can.
now. Yeah, they stopped it, but you can now go Heathrow to San Diego. So I'm doing that tomorrow. It's about 10 and a half hours, which will be fun with a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. Um, actually, I think it might be all right. I think
What's your flight time?
so. Yeah, we're flying about lunchtime.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so the little one will probably fall asleep at some point, at least later on. The other one, the 5-year-old, will just lay there and watch movies, I presume, and play on his Nintendo Switch. He can do whatever he wants for 10 hours. As long as he's not crying, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, upsetting all the passengers around you.
Yeah, as long as it's not me, mate.
I'm going on my first flight with our little one in October, and yeah,
Okay.
she'll be like nearly 18 months by then. So we're taking the plunge, mate. Taking the plunge.
You got to go for it. It'll be
Yeah,
fine. It'll be
yeah.
fine. Hello to everyone in the comments. Thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, 68 of them are already in. I'm expecting loads of our subscribers that have hit that notification bell to start getting notifications and coming in like the next 10, 15 minutes. But I was looking at some like YouTube analytics on my for my own channel, and I'm Chasing Green Arrows will be almost identical, I'm sure. And I was looking at what times people are most active, and actually the busiest time for me is between on my channel is something like 3 p.m. to something like 7 p.m. like that.
Right.
Those afternoon hours, including now, really, really busy. So I'm expecting it to be it'd be quite popular still tonight. We've
Yeah,
got
good.
Lau
Good.
Manning from Hong Kong.
Oh, love it.
Have a great trip, Dean. He says notifications are slow to CH. Are they CH? Like, do let us know more about that because I don't know
that's
what that
interesting.
experience is like. For the
Yeah,
show.
I've never had a notification on either. I don't watch live shows actually on YouTube, but yeah, that is interesting. So any feedback like that actually is really good feedback for us. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, guys, as always, get your questions in. We'll try and do a little bit of Q&A later in the show. But look, let's
Vindy,
reflect.
why have you said it? Why have you said it, Vindy?
He's gone early. He's gone early with the Fulham chat. Come on, Dean. Let's focus a little bit on. Let's do a little bit on Saudi. Let's do a little bit on Arsenal and Chelsea last night. Do you want to start with Saudi? Seeing as Vindy's asked a question.
Hate Saudi Arabia right now. Well, it's not just Micho now. Marco Silva's on his way, so it's like our star manager, our star striker, both having tons of
Paulinho
money
will be gone.
chucked at them. And if they go, then Paulinho's going to go. Who knows where it ends? Bernd Leno will be going. So it's very important that I stay optimistic right now. I'm optimistic a bit about Mitro. One, because I spoke to someone earlier and they said he didn't like say half the things that have been reported. Like he didn't say he's not going.
Interesting.
So that didn't happen. They were like, look, he wants to go. And obviously it's a huge offer for him. But it wasn't as bad as has been played out. So that's good.
Okay.
Secondly, I'm quite optimistic that Al Hilal can't actually front enough money to get Mitro. They don't pay big fees. They're not paying over like 50 million euros for players like Ruben Neves, top one. They're not really going to break that. And so if they're not going to break that, they're not going to get him because Mitro is going to take £50 million at least, I think more.
He's in his peak, isn't he? He's like, what is he, 26, 27? They're not buying a journeyman here that's still good. They're buying someone that's back in his peak.
Premier League striker. You've got to pay 55, 60 million pound for him.
Agreed.
So that's, and then obviously that, last night I read a story saying, Marco Silva is determined to make sure Mitrovic doesn't go to Saudi Arabia. 12 hours later, Marco Silva's going to Saudi Arabia. What? What do you mean? Al Ali, £40 million over euros over 2 years. It's like that is one absolutely insane money.
So I was looking at the best paid managers in the world, and this is pounds, I think. And number 3 is Jurgen Klopp at £16 million. So that's about the same as what he'll get. He'll be the equivalent of the 3rd best paid manager in the world. Pep gets 20 million a year. In at number 1, Diego Simeone gets 30 million a year.
Does he? Why? Look, Marco's already turned down one offer from Saudi this year. I just hope he does it one more time. Fulham are due to land any minute, basically, in America. They're landing. He's on a flight right now. Is he going to fly straight back? I don't know. Fulham, I've heard and it's been reported that we've already kind of looked into replacements, which isn't that reassuring. Someone just said, yeah, Fulham are going down. We'll see. We'll see where we're at. I'm going to get to San Diego, turn my phone off for 3 weeks, and I'll see you then.
That's who's not going down. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea all looked impressive in pre-season yesterday. Let's just look at some of those key players and positions and things that we've noticed. Let's start with Chelsea. 4-2-3-1, as expected from Poch. Fullbacks playing still like wing-backs, getting super, super high. We saw Chilwell with a late goal. Yep. Chilwell came on and he played second half, didn't start the game. He took his goal so well, and it just shows us what Chilwell wants to do. He just wants to get in behind. And I looked back at some of the numbers under Poch, under Spurs, and I think early on in his Spurs career, I think the fullbacks were maybe Danny Rose, maybe, and was it Walker? Did he have Walker for a year? He might have done. And then I think he had a phase of having like Trippier and Ben Davis. Anyway, whoever they were so attacking. Like they ranked amongst the league's best fullbacks for attacking fullbacks, even in a back 4. And I think this just shows us, like, Chilwell and Reece James, if they're fit, 5.5 million, they're going to be great FPL assets. Sterling scored a well-taken goal, and Kunku's goal was a nice little run. Like, he wants to get in behind. There's a lot of Chelsea runners, the fullbacks, Sterling and Kunku, that all want to be in behind. If they're playing against defensive high lines, they're going to have loads of fun. Is there the midfield creativity to always find them? I don't know. And do they have to mix it up? And can they play short? I don't know. But they're definitely exciting on the run.
What's Sterling's price? 7.5?
7.
Mate, honestly, that could low-key be such a bargain. I mean,
he's always been 10, like plus.
Exactly. And there's no way, surely, that he could have a season like last year. Like, this was a guy that always at Man City got into double figures. Last season, he only got 6 goals and 3 assists, I think, in the Premier League. Like, that is like such a huge fall on where he would normally be. It's not normal. It's an anomaly. So I believe that Sterling does bounce back for next season. And if he's in that team every week, Chelsea creating chances, there's no way that he does not end up being considered the best asset around that price point. So I think that, especially if he did all right last night too, I know it's very early days to read into any performances or goals or whatever, but that's a good start for Raz. I'm very, very keenly keeping my eye on him for my team.
He looked sharp. I got it wrong. He didn't actually score, but he did miss a sitter. But that's
quite a big difference.
That's what Raheem Sterling does. But he gets chances, and in FPL we like chances.
No.
We saw that the left back was on loan at Burnley last year, Maatsen, who's really like good pedigree. The Dutch guy. I reckon there's a good chance he's loaned out again. But he started the game. I'm pretty sure he started in the kind of left attacking slot, like behind the left back. Oh. So again, like super advanced. He got a brace. He may have played second half. I can't remember, but so many changes in pre-season. You can't keep up with the selection because it's 2 lots of 11. So yeah, lots to look good there at Chelsea. But bearing in mind it was Wrexham, but the goals are good. We want to see that.
I saw Ben Foster, who was obviously in goal for Wrexham, talking about it, and I haven't watched the highlights, but he was just like, it was unbelievable to watch that Chelsea team running at me. He was like, their movements, the speed of them, the directness. He said it was crazy. Like, go and look up his quotes. It's actually really interesting. He's obviously a fascinating character anyway, Ben Foster. But so when he talked about this Chelsea attack and the patterns of play and stuff, it was pretty cool to read about.
Good man. We like Foster. Look, Liverpool and Arsenal too. Liverpool are interesting. They started with Darwin Núñez as the number 9. Mm-hmm. He's been given the number 9 shirt this year, Dean. And I was like, oh, does this mean... Because Hakpo, I think, was wearing 18 and Darwin was wearing 20-something. And I looked and Hakpo has never had the the 9. He's had like 11, but he's not married to the number 18 shirt by any stretch when you look at his old shirt numbers. So I'm guessing both Hakpo and Darwin both wanted that number 9 shirt. It was Darwin that got it. I still think Hakpo will start the season as the 9. First half, Darwin gets the ball. He's through on goal. He doesn't shoot. He tries to pass it to Salah. It hits the defender, comes back to Darwin, and then Darwin slots it home. It was a well-taken finish in the end, but it was like, yeah, you still made the wrong choice in the box, and Darwin does a lot of that. But it was interesting to see Diaz on the left, Darwin central, Salah right. Second half, we saw Hakpo come on, but we also saw Diogo Jota, and Diogo scored a couple of goals. And you look at him as an option at 8 million as a midfielder. A nailed Diogo Jota will be in all our teams, but we just don't know if he's going to be used as an impact sub or first sub and then sort of cover for injuries. But I wonder between him and Luis Diaz, who does get the nod, because there's no doubt in my mind that if Klopp's looking for goals, Jota the slotter. I mean, we saw at the end of last season, like he's got more of a goal threat than Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz perhaps better for others in the team, more of a creator. I don't know. It's a tough call that for the left hand side.
I was going to say, like, if you were to pick one of those Liverpool assets that you've just listed, like, how would you even begin to rank them? It seems so difficult to actually pick any of those.
I think I would play Diogo Jota as the number 9 if I was Klopp. I don't think he will. And I think I'd play Darwin wide left just to cause havoc, because Darwin can scare defenders and can run and does naturally drift left. I think my ideal first front three is Darwin left, Jota central, and Salah right. But it's so far from that. That's not going to happen. It's going to be... happen, no. I think it'll be Hakpo and Diaz. Let us know in the chat what your ideal front three is. Like, there are 2 spots and 4 very good players for those 2 spots. And we won't see 4 of them. We won't see 3 of those 4 all in the same team, because Salah will always play. And Klopp is fixed on that front three. He very rarely will go, oh, I'm going to play the front three and I'm still going to accommodate a Jota or a Hakpo somewhere else. We're not going to see that. It's 3 slots there and there's 5 good players to go for those positions.
Yeah, Mark says Szoboszlai wasn't on set pieces. I mean, it's very early to read into set piece takers at the moment. I wouldn't worry too much about it. There's no way we're going to go through a season without Szoboszlai taking any free kicks. Like, it'd just be absolutely, like, you would not be, it'd be misuse of an asset. Like, you just couldn't do that. It'd be stupid. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Midfield as well. Trent played midfield, not inverted fullback, not right back coming into midfield on the ball.
Just played midfield.
But he actually played midfield. Yeah, he played as like a, he started as number 6, but as the game went on, I think he got a little bit more advanced. I looked at the average position maps this morning, and he was actually further ahead on the average position map as Szoboszlai. I still can't pronounce him, and I was like, oh, that's good for FPL.
Yeah, that is interesting. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, despite him meant to be kind of, I think he was listed as a number 6 in the team, and they did have a young kid playing right back. Arsenal, also interesting in terms of selection. We know when now Xhaka has left, there's that number 8, left-hand number 8 slot available in the Arsenal team, and we just assumed Havertz will come in and take it, and I think he probably will. But yesterday, Leandro Trossard was the one that started in that role, which was interesting, because Trossard looked really neat and tidy playing there. I only watched the extended highlights. We saw Nketiah playing wide left and Jesus in the 9. When I saw them on the team sheet, I thought, does this mean Jesus is playing wide? Jesus' first goal, the dink from 20 yards. Go check it out. There is a body cam worn by the referee who's just behind Jesus when he hits it, and it's the most beautiful dink. I'll see if Chasing Green Arrows will can retweet that. I'm going to find the tweet on Twitter and tag Chasing Green Arrows, and now retweet it. So check out the CGA Twitter page.
Good idea. What wasn't impressive for Arsenal was Kai Havertz's volley challenge.
My God, amazing.
I mean, honestly, how many of those volleys do you think you would have scored?
I reckon I would have got one. Like,
you would have got one, right?
Done. It's never been blanked. No one's ever got a 0.
I was like, how has he not got one? Like, the goalkeeper doesn't even really seem like he's trying here. It's just that they are all 4 attempts, and like it all looked a bit half-hearted anyway. I don't think Havertz probably really gave any thought as to what he was about to go into. It seemed like, but still, like, self-pride should drive you to score a volley. If that was me, like, I don't know, if that was at school and in assembly, they quickly said, right, we want someone to come up. We're going to give you some volleys. See if you can score. If they'd have thrown you the ball 14 times and you didn't score, you'd been bullied for the rest of the school year. Like, you'd never got over it. All your mates would be like, you're rubbish, mate. You're rubbish. Yeah. I'm like, how is he getting away with that? So that is not a good start for Kai Havertz, who technically should be one of the best players out there. There's even another couple of little things going around about Havertz that I don't want to troll him because I actually like him, but even like in the warm-up, he wasn't controlling the ball and stuff. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, but his goal, Dean, was a volley, ironically, from a cross, and
a lot of practice.
He tucked it away so well. So I guess
This is
all
what I
that
mean.
matters.
I just assumed he just wasn't in the frame of mind, like just didn't realize what he was doing. That was the impression I got from it. But very strange because Kai Havertz should technically be one of the best players on the pitch.
Yeah, you're right there. Martinelli came on and slotted typical Martinelli goal, taking up all the positions we want Martinelli to take up. Super advanced. By the way, the Liverpool heat map, Salah far more advanced than anyone else on the pitch, as you would expect. Maybe actually in the next show, I'll make sure we can show those average position and heat maps that we're talking about because they're so interesting. The first thing I do after a game, I'm like, because FPL is the way I watch football is always with an FPL hat.
Yeah.
Average player positions are so important when picking someone like a Havertz or a Trossard or even a Trent. So first thing in the morning, I'm always looking at those maps. So we'll try and get more of them on CJ.
Yeah. By the way, there's breaking news that Moussa Diaby has chosen Aston Villa over a move to Saudi Arabia.
Nice.
That is a good FPL asset. That is one that we like a lot. This player is electric. I'd actually done a story earlier on Forgive Me Sport.
Oh, yeah.
They said, "Oh, you know what? Just give us some quotes on Moussa Diaby, basically." And I was like, look, this is basically a player that has a very strange option ahead of him. He's only 24, and he was absolutely set on going to a top European club for months. And then suddenly he's got the chance to go and play up front with Ronaldo. So you're like, so you're going to put me up front with Ronaldo and pay me how much? Yeah. Okay, well, that is confusing for me because I know that is the wrong choice, but that's hard to say no to. So it's all Emery. Emery has actually won this for Villa. He's been driving for this player so hard, and he's got him. So
how much will he be in FPL, Dean? Because he'll be listed as a midfielder, right?
Yeah, he'll probably be listed as a midfielder, he's a wide attacker.
Because if you play wide in FPL, Salah, prime example, plays wide, therefore FPL just lists you as midfielder. It doesn't matter how advanced you are and how attacking. If you're wide, you feel like you're always going to be listed as a midfielder. So the most expensive Villa mid is 6 million. Like they don't price the vids in the Villa team, you know, Jacob Ramsey, 6 million, Buendia, 6 million. He's got to be 6.5 or 7, isn't he?
I'm going to say, I'd say 7. I'll max it out at 7. And because he's going to be about a 50 million euro player, I would say 7 million in this game, mate. That is interesting. That is really interesting.
That midfield price bracket, so many good options at 7. We've spoken about Mount and Sterling. You got up to 7.5, you've got Foden, and then at 8 million, you know, you can have likes of Martinelli. Having plenty of options in that mid price bracket, I think it's going to be really important. Frederick, congratulations. I say congratulations. You've just got. I hope you've had a good holiday. Just come back, walk through the door from Costa Rica. Congratulations is probably the wrong term on that one. Congratulations for tuning in.
It sounded like I just won a prize.
Yeah. Bone's been red hot, says Gabriel in pre-season. He was like the best player on the pitch for
mate, I've got him in my team, haven't I? I put him in my first draft. I've got Bowen in there.
Early doors. He looked good against West Ham. Against Spurs. But Spurs in that game, heads up on this. When you look at the stats, and again, the average position map, Pedro Porro, super advanced.
Mate,
he's going to be a great shout.
He's in my team as well. He was in my first draft. I might just stick with it for the season. I reckon I might have nailed it.
The thing is, West Ham were all over them still. Like Spurs do not look like they're going to keep a clean sheet. So Porro might not get you clean sheet points, but he'll definitely get you attacking returns.
Well, hopefully they do end up actually signing these 2 centre-backs they've been talking about for 3 months because they need them. They absolutely need him, and they eventually do it. But will the season have started by then? Maybe.
Their options at centre-back to join Romero were Tanganga, who played the first half, and Sanchez, who played the second. And then I think Ben Davies had to play centre-back for a bit. Like in a 2, they're struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting excited though. Like even when you start to see the little pre-season games,
Yeah.
you go back into that zone of thinking that you spot something that nobody else has seen, don't you?
Yeah, so true. So true. Preseason scouting, always, guys, we'll be bringing you up to speed on chasing green arrows. And as I mentioned, we'll bring you more of those maps as well. But look, let's move on to our main feature of the night. We are going to look at captaincy in a sec. But first, we wanted to show you what a Threemium draft might look like, because we are neglecting Harry Kane and we are neglecting Mo Salah. Now, sure, some might try and accommodate Haaland and one of those guys. We thought, let's just put together a draft with all three of them and see if we've got anyone out there that thinks actually this might be worth looking at. Personally, it ain't a draft for me, but I know there's some that will really like the option. So, shall we have a look at that Threemium team?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
I think coming up next. Here we go. So, it is, but like, I mean, you don't see many teams with 2 4 million defenders and 2 4 million goalkeepers. We're hoping that we get. I mean, Tom Heaton looks like he could be off. If Heaton gets a move to a Premier League club and then is a number one, you've got an option. Can't remember who he was linked with recently.
Luton.
Or someone like, was it Luton? He'd be the number one at Luton, wouldn't he? Surely he doesn't get to Luton to be number two. So if that transfer happens, you could have your goalkeepers covered. Obviously, Kane and Haaland are in there. I've still managed to accommodate here Martinelli and Saka. So the midfield looks really good still.
Midfield's good, yeah.
It's just that back line. But if Colwell's a starter, if Baldock can get some upside because he does get forward,
I think it's okay, mate. I don't think the back line is bad, considering you've got this on a Threemium. Like, as it stands, those four players at least are all gonna, at least they'll all play the first game of the season. I'm confident Colwell will be a Chelsea player, and if that's the case, he's going to go into the team at the moment, especially now Fofana's out. Badiashile's not going to be there.
That's good news.
So I think he'll start. So obviously, a tough couple of fixtures to get underway at Chelsea. So I'm not expecting like a load of points anyway. But the others around him, they're good picks that a lot of people will be looking at. I mean, Pau Torres at 2.7%. I mean, might be one of the most underplayed players so far in the game at 4.5 mil. Like, that is a player that really could have a good season. I think Villa might surprise people. I quite like that price point. I didn't realize he was so cheap.
Yeah, I was surprised. That's why I was like, how much would Derby come in at? Because I think, the lower price points for the mid-table teams this season is really surprising. Like, I think Tyrone Mings might be 5 million. It's like Pau Torres might be starting instead of Mings, but he'll definitely be starting, and he's 4.5.
Would you have considered bringing in one of the 7 million guys to bring in a better defender?
Yeah, I've just put that in the chat. What do you think? Yeah. Should I literally, as you were saying, thinking that, I was writing it. I was thinking, should I have been a bit more modest on Martinelli and
that's
and
the only
Saka?
thing you'd think. Like, do you need, like, obviously it's great to have Martinelli and Saka, and over the course of the season, you'll probably get as many points out of it anyway, to be fair. But if you're just looking to be a bit safer,
that could have been Foden and Mitoma or whatever.
Yeah, for example.
And you save a fair few mil there.
Yeah.
But I was looking at the defence going, these are really good value options. The 4.5 guys, like Colwell's fixtures are amazing from game week 3 onwards.
Yeah, and
Villa have got some Villa defensive record last season under Emery was one of the best. Since Emery came in, like, I think they rank in the top 4 maybe for defence. Like, I think we should all be taking Villa defence. Maybe even Emi Martinez as a goalkeeper option at 5 million. Like, there's loads of good options at Villa there. I think Matty Cash is 4.5.
Yeah, Mark just made a good point though. Like, Arsenal's opening fixtures, Martinelli and Saka just makes sense, doesn't it? I mean,
I couldn't go without them. Go without them. These are my 2 favourite picks.
What's it when you have 5 premium players? I can't even think. Like a Quintium team, because like that 5 in your team makes up for lapses elsewhere. I think like the amount of goal potential in Martinelli, Saka, Kane, Haaland, and Salah is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So it's probably worth it, to be fair, but you'd have to be brave enough to stick it out with that defense even through bad times.
Yeah, you would. And you can't play a back 3 really with this team, because you've got Anderson and Semenyo on your bench. By the way, Semenyo is a Bournemouth striker with longish dreads. I think that might be Leon Bailey in Semenyo as a picture. I think
yeah, I
that's
think
Leon
it is.
Bailey. It's definitely a
I was
Billikit, isn't it?
very confused. I was trying to think of a Semenyo that played for Aston Villa.
Yeah. No, Semenyo's the one that went to Bournemouth in January and I think got like 1 or 2 starts last season, but they paid like maybe 10 million for him. He's got a chance of being a starter, Semenyo, as a 4.5 forward. So do consider him instead of Cameron Archer or as a different option to Cameron Archer. But yeah, I'm not expecting Semenyo and Anderson to be starters. So you're relying on Bayer coming in if there's any injuries here, but always playing a back four.
Yeah. I'm interested to know in the chat. Let us know if any of you are actually thinking of going Threemium. And if you are, like where you intend to let up with your budget, like what gives. Like you say here, you've gone with that low back line, and which is the obvious thing to do.
No Chelsea fullbacks, no City defender. That's where this draft probably misses out and gives. Also, remember, this draft doesn't have any Man United players. So no Rashford or Shaw or Bruno, all are fairly popular. Dean, I feel like this feels like a poll. Should we poll, are you going one premium, 2 premiums, or 3 premiums?
Yes, I like that a lot.
Do we list Trent as a premium or not?
Nah.
Let's just go premium attackers then.
Yeah, premium attackers.
1 premium attacker, 2 premium attackers, or 3 premium attackers.
Yeah, absolutely. If you were to choose out of Salah and Kane, would it be a Salah no-brainer?
Oh, nice question. Because I think there are a few that are trying to squeeze in that second premium. And we'll look at the upside of doing that when we look at the captaincy matrix in a minute. By having 2 or 3, you have options outside of Haaland and maybe Saka and Rashford that you can captain. I think it would be Salah because I'm just not convinced on Harry Kane in the new Spurs team. And could he leave? Could he throw his toys out the pram? I know he's not that type, but could he not be completely on it? And also, going back to the thing I love, the average position maps, James Maddison was more advanced than Harry Kane in the preseason friendly. It was by about a millimetre on my app, but he did resort to the Kane that's getting on the ball in the number 10 position. And it's like, if you're going to play with wing backs or full backs doing what they're doing under Postecoglou and a lot of wide forwards and Kulusevski and Maddison, you need a Ruud van Nistelrooy in the box. You need Harry Kane to be your Van Nistelrooy. And he can do that very well class at it, but he can also resort to type if he's allowed, and that is dropping short.
Yeah, I just want him to be a goal hanger. I just want him to hog chances. I just want to see how many goals he can score in a season. If I was him, I'd be like, I'm just going to go all Haaland for a season and just bang in 50 goals just to show that I can do it. Loves to see Kane do that and knock all this link-up plan.
Yeah, and this was without Son on the pitch because he does that even more often when Son's on the pitch because he knows him and Son are just on a level for that through ball, aren't they? But this was without Son, and I was like, move.
Yeah, do you know what? I think Son could become a good asset. I really do. I don't know if you saw. Did you see what he's been saying since the end of last season about his injury from last year?
Yeah.
So he played through most of the season with an injury, and he's had a hernia operation as soon as the season's ended. Bear in mind, during the season, he also had his fractured eye socket, and Tottenham weren't very good. So he had 2 major injuries. Kept playing through all of it, and there was a World Cup, and Tottenham weren't very good anyway.
Yeah.
Again,
manager.
I think Son could be due a big bounce back, and we might all be jumping back on him. The more I think about this, I don't want to start the season with him because I need to see what we're getting. But it wouldn't surprise me if after the first few games, when they've played Brentford, Man United, and Bournemouth, there's that temptation that it is actually the old Son that we've got back.
Pound for pound, midfielder 9 million versus forward 12.5. Son's the better FPL asset, is he this season? Just?
Yeah.
I think he is.
I think so.
I think he might prove to be. Yeah.
Bill says Dean Jones really liked my team review after all. Yeah, absolutely, Bill. Absolutely. Right. Get your votes in now. The poll is
How's it looking?
there. It's 163. I haven't voted yet, so let me go.
A fair few, though. 35% are going for 2. And that makes me think 35% are going for Mo Salah.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got Haaland. So let's check out. I'm going to have a look now. Mo Salah's ownership, I'm guessing, is about 25-30%. Mo Salah's, 25% owned. Harry Kane's probably under 10% owned.
15, it says.
Okay.
which is still strange considering he got 30 goals last season.
Yeah,
It's the one thing that got me through last season. Like, obviously,
you were loyal.
from
Weren't
one
you?
point I fell away, but the only thing that really saved me in the end was that I stuck with Kane when everybody else abandoned him, and he just
Yeah.
he was consistently scoring. So I always find it hard to look beyond Kane, I have to admit.
Dean, I don't like shoving it down people's throats, but I've just seen we've got 77 votes, and I was like, we've got like 37 likes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Ah,
Guys, come on. It helps us out in the algorithm and all that stuff.
all
If
that
you
jazz.
just hit the like button and obviously subscribe to the channel if you're not, but I'm guessing many of you are subscribed, but
Help
not
us
many of
out.
you have liked.
Look, I'm going on holiday. I need to have something to come back to. So give us a like.
Yeah, how long are you away for?
I'm going for 3 weeks, so I'm still going to be doing these while I'm out there. Like,
Yeah, I was
I'm not
going to say
disappearing for three
we're
weeks.
still going to
I'm going to
have
miss
you
the
like
whole build. I can't miss the whole build up to the new season.
if your
Defeat the point of the
connection's
show.
good. What would the time difference be like? I guess it was fine because
It will
yeah,
be
we
8
always stream in the
hours.
evening.
So yeah, if we're streaming at 6 or 7 p.m., then yeah, we're looking at 10 or 11 in the morning. So should be good. I'm in an Airbnb, not a hotel, so should have a decent Wi-Fi. Obviously, be the first thing I check out as soon as I get in there.
Yeah, standard on holiday.
Standard. What's the Wi-Fi? What's the Wi-Fi?
The
My
wife's
kids will have
always
their.
like, grow up.
My wife will be looking at how comfy the beds are, and me and the two
Yeah.
boys will be loading up iPads, Nintendo Switches, and phones.
Yeah. Did you know, Dean, on Monday, I've lined up, I don't know if I've told you this, we've got Olivia on the show
Oh,
on
is she
Monday.
on?
She
Amazing.
is a here we go. She's squeezing in a stream with us before she jets off on holiday as well.
Mate, she's just been on holiday for a month.
Yeah, yeah. I always see from her Instagram she is often in sunny climates.
She is always away. She's got the best tan in football. There is no
Yeah,
doubt about it, just from the few pictures that I've seen of her crop up on Insta. But that's cool. Like, I'm interested to know what her team is. So hopefully
yeah,
I'll be here on Monday. If not, at least you've got a guest, so that's good.
yeah. I saw she
Where
was
is
on
Dean
Sky
going? I'm
Sports.
going to San Diego, CH. So yes, I fly tomorrow. That's why we're doing an early show today to give me the luxury of being able to have an actual day off to travel.
Yeah, yeah. When Olivia was like, when should I come on? I was thinking, yeah, let's do Monday just in case I'm by myself anyway.
It's a great backup plan, mate. You've sorted that. You don't want to be sat here for an hour chatting to yourself. It's not the
Yeah.
easiest thing to do.
Yeah, it's not. So look, Liv's going to be showing us her team, guys, and Livia like has presented the FPL show, like now a Sky Sports newsreader as well, but
Yeah, she's doing
proper
well.
into her FPL. And obviously a massive Chelsea fan. So I think with Liv on, we're going to have to do a little Chelsea deep dive and review and look at some of those other Chelsea assets. Perhaps we're not talking about quite so much. Maybe some of those attacking players, but also showing her team. So yeah, well up for that.
She'll probably have some good Chelsea insight too. I reckon she'll know a few bits and pieces that will help us.
Yeah, good point. And obviously working with Chelsea TV all the time as well. She is a busy woman. Hotel Wi-Fi won't let you stream well. No, Brian, he's in an Airbnb, so
Airbnb,
that's the beauty of it.
Made that mistake before, Brian. And when I've got kids, look, the problem as well, when you've got like 2 young kids and you stay in a hotel, it's an absolute nightmare when it gets to bedtime because the kids go to bed. And typically, there's not another room in the hotel.
Yeah.
So there's been times me and my wife have ended up just like sat in the bath drinking wine and watching an iPad. It's not fun.
That's brilliant. Manchester United says, I'm playing Jesus, and then he's looking at going to Nkunku game week 3. And Jesus does give you that option because 8 million, even if Nkunku has gone up by game week 3, you'll be able to afford him. He starts at 7.5. And Jesus does have Forest, Palace, Fulham in the first 3. You could move in game week 3 for Nkunku's Luton at home, or you might want to keep Jesus for Fulham at home and then maybe look at going Nkunku once you've had maybe even 3 games to look at him. That's perhaps my loose plan.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Fulham have got any players left by the time we get there. We might be targeting Fulham this season as a weak spot this week.
Yeah, we've got our chaser team on the bottom of the screen as well.
Oh,
we'll revisit that very soon. Michael, we'll speak a little bit about Bowen coming up in the next few streams because Dean does have Jarrod Bowen, but we're going to move on now to our captaincy matrix just to show the value of a Threemium draft and where that gives you options for captaincy, because I think this might tell us that actually we don't need 3 Miums because it's like part of the reason why you pick a 12 million player is it gives you an option with the armband. But if, for example, you're not going to captain Salah or Kane in any of these first 6 game weeks, is it worth it? Are they worth their price alone if you're not ever getting double their points by putting the armband on? You just going Haaland. But look, let's have a look. Game week 1's an easy one. I think pretty set. You might look at someone like Saka or Rashford game week 1, but with these three in mind, it'd be Haaland. Game week 2, it's a no-brainer. Salah is the outstanding captaincy option. And I think that's why many are starting 30% with Salah, because they want to be able to give him the armband game week 2. What do you reckon, Dean? You'd back against Haaland with Newcastle, wouldn't you? He scored. Liverpool beat Bournemouth 9-0 last year at Anfield, and Salah was the only attacking player on the pitch to blank.
Yeah, he's definitely going to score in that game. Look, Newcastle had a very good defensive record last season. I mean, they let it slip a bit towards the back end of the season, but there was new pressures and stuff. I guess that you have to account for some of that. But it's still a home fixture. It's Man City's first home fixture defending their treble.
Yeah,
I don't know. I want to be backing against Haaland. I don't know. I'd be backing against Haaland.
If you own Salah and Haaland, who would you captain?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like sat here right now, you're like, well, you'd have to back Salah. I don't know that you do. I don't know. You do. Also, Bournemouth might be quite good.
Go Salah.
Bournemouth
might say I'll do Salah, but would they actually?
Bournemouth might be quite good. Like, they've recruited. They started to recruit well. They've got a smart new manager. They are not going to. This is not the same team that turned up last season, lost 9-0. It was a Scott Parker team. Scott Parker was out of his depth.
Did he get sacked after that game?
He said,
not long after. Yeah,
he said, "I can't work with this team. There's nothing here. No one will keep this lot up."
And then the guy that did got sacked.
Then he went over to Belgium, got a Champions League job, and he was sacked from that as well. Sacked from 2 jobs last season. Poor old Scott Parker.
Right,
he's actually a really nice bloke.
Is he?
Yeah.
Tell the truth in this poll, guys, because it's very easy to say I'd captain Salah, but I know last season a lot of you boring lot just went Haaland every week, even when there were options like Salah. So tell the truth. If Haaland bangs game week 1, which he will, and Salah blanks game week 1, which he could do you still give Salah the armband? Now, personally, my vote is yes. And I hope you guys believe me. I would go through with that. But let us know what you'd do.
I'd stick Haaland.
Haaland is out on front still. So maybe not a big enough argument to have to accommodate Salah in your team if you're not going to captain him. What about game week 3? Because I think I don't think anyone would look away from Haaland against Sheffield United, even with Kane with a good fixture.
Mate, honestly, I don't think I will take the armband off him all season. I really don't. Unless he's
What if
he's
playing Liverpool? What if he was playing Liverpool?
I'd still pick him.
Or Arsenal? You would? Him.
Yeah, I would. Because I don't think
even
it makes any difference.
Even if Salah had Luton.
if Haaland had his most difficult game of the season and Salah had Luton, I might be forced into it that week. But
I hear you though. You're a good 30, 35 of the 38 game weeks. You reckon Haaland will probably be? I think
it honestly is going to be like, and also because of that feeling of what the rest of your mini league is doing and stuff like that, and not trying to be too clever. Like, I don't know. It's just playing the odds sometimes. And if you stick with Haaland across the season as captaincy, and you don't miss any of his 40 goals as double points, that's the key. Like, if you're on every one of his goals as double points, then you're not going to be far wrong. And if you're jumping across captaincies, even if it was these 3, if you're jumping, you're going to miss goals along the way, and you might not get to the same totals if you just stuck with one of them.
Yeah, often it's funny. I always see teams come game week 19 or 20, and official FPL will tweet, this team is ranked 5,000 in the world and it's not made a single transfer or substitution since game week 1. And it's the set and forget team of Haaland captain, all your big names in the 11 that are pretty fixture proof anyway. And sometimes, we work. Now, by game week 38, you would like to think that those teams have struggled because of injuries and not jumping on form players. But often early on, it pays to be slow and steady and just realise that you can go pretty set and forget.
Mate, do you know what? For this show, it has crossed my mind to do a set and forget team as my team and see how I would do. I can still make subs. I'd still allow myself subs and maybe to transfer subs. But my main 11 has to remain and see how it actually does.
That's an interesting experiment. Maybe we have to do that experiment alongside our chaser team.
Yeah, I'm genuinely thinking of doing it. I'm like, because I think in my fear with it, to be honest, my main fear is like I mess up in my mini league and I like get to the bottom of that. But I don't think this set and forget team would be bad enough to end up in the bottom three. I think they would pick up points throughout the season anyway.
You're gonna have to enter.
I'll think about it.
You're gonna have to enter a team on your wife's email or something, so you can have a second one.
Yeah, true.
And the chaser team isn't going to go Haaland every week. That's the fun. Because you guys are also this year, guys, you're going to be managing two teams. You're going to be managing your own teams, but you're going to be co-managing the chaser team. This is all about what you vote for every week. And we'll do captaincy polls every Friday with our chaser team. You can see the team at the bottom of the screen. We've gone triple Arsenal attack with it. We've gone without Trent. We've tried to be a little bit fun. You guys have voted for each and every one of these, and you'll have a chance to vote again before game week 1. But you can help us go Salah game week 3, Harry Kane game week 5. Like game week 5, I mean, let's look at game week 4. I think Haaland straight away. Game week 5, Haaland goes to West Ham away. If you own Harry Kane, who was Sheffield United at home, you might just have a little play there. But maybe not in your team. Maybe doing it in your co-management team is a little bit easier.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody is doing, or someone must be, going with Salah and Kane and not Haaland.
Ooh.
Like,
he's 85% owned Haaland. So there is 15% going, probably those 15%
somewhere else.
Kane.
Yeah. So do you think that's that is true. Kane 15% owned.
Yeah.
So that must be it. It's like you either I'd be interesting. I still don't think he would do better than with Haaland, but
there was only something like 7 points between them last year, which is quite remarkable. Like, I think Kane had slightly more minutes, but yeah, there was only literally 1 goal and a few bonus points in it between the two players, which is, you wouldn't have thought that looking back on the season just gone.
You wouldn't have. Yeah, I'm talking to myself into all sorts of stupid things at the moment. We should probably move on.
So yeah, I think the long and short of this captaincy matrix shows us that whilst Threemium could be loads of fun, if you're not giving Salah and Kane the armband, you can't justify bringing them in, guys. I don't think you can. Points aren't enough alone when you're buying 12 million plus players, 12.5 million players. You need to be able to say, I'm bringing in Salah because I know I'm going to captain him against Bournemouth. That's worth it for me. It's like when you take a 4-point hit. I always say, I will take a 4-point hit for any player, any given week, if it means I'm going to bring him in to captain him, because it's like, that's where I see the upside. The 4 points is nothing if I think he's going to go get a hat-trick and he's the best game week captain. So yeah, if you're buying Salah or buying Kane, just know or hope that you'll have the minerals to go against Haaland and give him the armband every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I am going to do a set and forget. You're right. Whatever my team is at the start of the season, I'm going to set up on a separate account under Taylor's name, and I will keep checking back to see how that team's doing in comparison to the team that I'm actually updating. I'm going to be made to look silly, aren't I?
Yeah, probably.
Worth a try. It's worth a try.
Mika says, why isn't Saka more of a captaincy option? He absolutely is. This was just to compare the Threemium draft. But of course, you look at Arsenal's fixtures, and there is an argument to say game week 1, game week 2, maybe not game week 2, it's away at Palace, but game week 1 and 3, outstanding fixtures. Saka, Martinelli and Jesus. The problem with Arsenal for me is I don't know who the clear talisman in that team is. Like, I know if Liverpool score, I expect to see on the video printer Salah is involved, especially if they score a couple of goals. You know he's involved in one of them. Unlike other than the 9-0 win against Bournemouth. Haaland, exactly the same. When Arsenal score, if you saw them win 3-0 and Saka wasn't involved in anything, I don't think you'd be that surprised. Same with Jesus, same with Martinelli, same with Odegaard. Now Havertz is there. You can even, Jorginho took the pen yesterday in the friendly. Saka was off the pitch, but knowing Jorginho's record and knowing Saka has missed a couple of big high-profile pens, Euros, I know he's scored a few since. I just wonder if Georgie even gets penalties. And if he does, then the Saka appeal is lessened again. I do think Saka will keep penalties until he misses. But when Georgie's on the pitch, you've got that risk. So there isn't a clear talisman in that team in terms of FPL points. They all produce really similar.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true. By the way, I've just been reminded, a friend of mine is thinking of just picking the England team as his team. He's like, can't go
Could
far
you
wrong, can
afford
it?
it? Do you reckon you could afford it? You probably could, because you'd have no Salah and Haaland. The only real
Yeah,
premium is Kane and
your
Trent.
your main premium. So you have Kane and Trent. Obviously, you have Rashford at 9. But the rest of it was pretty doable from what I remember. Obviously,
Grealish,
he had Ramsdale and
he's
Pickford as his
75.
goalkeepers. He had Foden and Grealish.
You could put Mason Mount in because Bellingham's not in the league. So you go Mount instead of Bellingham. You
You could
get
have
Declan
Mount in.
Rice.
You could have Rice. You could have
Maguire. He doesn't get any minutes.
his defense wasn't bad because he had
Put Cole in.
because he had 2 Chelsea assets. So he had
Chilwell and James.
Chilwell and James. So he still had that. I think he had Luke Shaw. I think he
Yeah,
managed to
Shaw
get.
left centre back.
He's had it. It was like I've literally picking the England team. I'm just going with it.
That's pretty cool. I like
It's actually is quite cool, isn't it?
Colm says Haaland was born in England. So
Yeah, I know.
he
Well,
born in Leeds,
I did
wasn't
say
he?
that to him too. I was like, "Are you going to get like all smart?" He's like, "Nope, don't need him. I've got Kane, Watkins, and who did he have up front? Kane, Watkins. He wanted Ivan Toney. He's like, I need him back, but I can't remember who his third striker. Oh, might have been Callum Wilson actually.
Yeah, you could put in Jared Bowen. We didn't mention Bowen, like not an England starter, but he's in the squad.
It's not a bad idea, is it? There's worse ways to pick your team. Apart from the fact you're missing out on Salah and Haaland, like it's not too bad.
We've had a few comments in the chat about our mini league. I don't know if we are showing it in tonight's show. If we're not, we'll be showing it next week. If we are showing it in tonight's show, we'll put it on the bottom screen. If we're not, and I see it's not there, then I'll share with you. If you want to join a mini league now tonight, you can join my mini league. I'll put my code in the chat as well. But make sure you are joining both.
Yeah, we will be doing one. We are going to do one, so don't worry. We will all be 100%. In there.
And if you were in the league last year, guys, you will automatically, I think, you get the option when you sign up to FPL. Do you want to automatically be in the same league? So I ticked the yes box, 2 weeks ago, and all my leagues are the same.
Yeah, it should just read you. Like, every other year, I've always ended up in the same leagues anyway. So you should be there once it all comes through. But we'll make sure that we don't miss that. Don't worry, people. Yeah,
if you want to be in the Chasing Green Arrows and my league, I'll just put it in the chat now. You can join that.
Yes, mate.
So all right, let's move on to taking some of your questions, shall we? So we can probably have a look. So get your questions in. We've got 10 minutes left of the show.
Yeah.
There can be questions about transfers for Dean. There can be questions about FPL for either of us. There can be show ideas. There can be guests you want to have on. Just let us know and talk to us for 10 minutes, please, guys. We really enjoyed today's stream, and you can get your likes and your subscribes in to show your support. That would be awesome. Thanks, guys. We're showing my mini league code there on screen as well. So if you want to note that down, feel free to join. Who we got with us today? Getting their questions in. Oh yeah, Mark, that is the one on screen with my name is my league. The CGA league will be shown next stream for sure. But we, if you were in it last year, you'll probably also be enrolled. You certainly weren't in mine last year because this is a new thing I've set up.
Yeah. Punter wants a list of all the penalty takers. We can do that one week, mate. We can try. I mean, we probably
all 20 teams. We could do that.
We could do that. I mean, obviously, we don't know for sure yet with all of them because some of them haven't even played a game yet in pre-season. But we know what it's likely to be. In fact, isn't it actually on the FPL site? There's like set piece takers, and they actually list normally what it's going to be. So
yeah, I think you're right. I'm pretty sure they have. Yeah,
like at the moment it says Arsenal, for example, they've listed 3. They've gone Saka, Jesus, Martinelli. So they've kind of given you a rank of even how they think it would line up. Brighton, Gross, and Welbeck. So yeah, they have got the list up there.
Is it called set piece takers or penalties?
Yeah, set piece takers, and it tells you the free kick takers too. So it's actually Yeah, it tells you direct free kicks, and then underneath that it says corners and indirect free kicks. It's actually a really good list. So and it gives you a list which basically looks to me like it probably is the order of expectation too of who would take them. So for Arsenal, for example, direct free kicks. At the moment, it says Odegaard. It hasn't been updated because it's Odegaard, Xhaka, and Martinelli. But corners and indirect free kicks, Saka, Trossard, Odegaard. So. Yeah, keep an eye on that because I'm sure they'll be updating that too as we get through pre-season.
if you really want detail and you're already a member, check out the Scout members area, Fantasy Football Scout. We're part of the Scout network on this channel. But I was looking at Chelsea corners from last season. I was really surprised. You can literally just filter it. Chilwell took 50 something corners last year, and Reece James only took 20, and they got similar minutes. So that was really surprising because you probably don't see Ben Chilwell as a corner taker, really. Not like, I think Mason Mount, when he's on the pitch, was on a lot of them. But yeah, Chilwell took more than double Reece James. Interesting.
That is really interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah. Cool. Question coming in from Michael. How will Guardiola impact on other City defenders? Well, I put Nathan Ake in my draft, and I've had a lot of comments saying, oh, even more of a risk now. I don't know if he is. Nathan Ake is still going to be first choice left back in a back four. I think the first choice back four will be Stones right back, Diaz right centre back, Guardiola left centre back, and Ake left back. So 4 centre backs, you could argue, but Stone's inverted. And I think that means Laporte will probably be sold. And if he's not, he'll be a bench option. And I think Akanji, a bench option. And I think Walker, there's a good chance he gets sold. So what do you reckon, Dean? Do you agree with my back four prediction there?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I think Vardiol is going to be an unbelievable asset. I was speaking to someone at Man City about what he'll actually bring to that team, and they said, "Look, beyond the defending, one of the reasons that Guardiola is being brought into Man City is because of his vision and how he sets off play." They were one of the ideas of getting Guardiola into that team is to get the ball to Haaland quicker and more directly. They said, so having Vardiol in there will have implications actually on Man City probably scoring more goals next season because they want to speed up that play. That first pass out the defence will be quicker than ever with Vardiol. That's part of the planning. So
he could come in at 5 million, Dean, because Ake's 5. Like, I don't think he'll come in at Stones Diaz money. And I think Laporte's 5. If he comes in at 5 million, then I'm selling Nathan Ake and getting Vardiol because he's surely going to be an absolute nailed asset and got more goal threat probably from set pieces too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Look, we've got a decision to make soon. Onana has just been announced as a Man United player by Man United. So it's a matter of time now before you get that price. How long does it normally take, G? How long does it till you normally get
tomorrow?
A price?
We'll get a price, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a price tomorrow. Now, will he be 5 or 5.5? That's the question. If he's 5, he's going to be in everyone's team. He'll be in mine. At 5.5, I'm not sure if he'll stay in mine or not.
Yeah, it's interesting though. A lot of people are going to be wanting to go there, and it'll be fascinating once he joins up with them just to see how much he's actually playing, like how much they are looking at him as a ball-playing goalkeeper, especially in the early days. How quickly they implement this new style. Bill's saying that your code's coming back as invalid.
Yeah, I've just seen we're having a nightmare. CH says the CJ League hasn't auto-loaded, and Bill says my code doesn't work. So between the two of us, we're really struggling. We'll see if we can get you in a mini league tonight. Let me just check that. That's not great. I've been putting that code out. I'm sure I just pasted it from my YouTube channel.
Is it just you in the list, mate? Do you think you're playing against yourself this season?
An absolute nightmare. Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste it. Maybe I put the wrong one on the screen. That is definitely the code. M9DVYH. Yeah. Johnny, your code worked for me earlier. Oh, thanks, Laurie. Okay. Maybe Bill entered it wrong.
Yeah, or maybe the site's just being glitchy. Who knows? Yeah, CH has joined. Yeah, so
Steve, we've got so many good questions, and we're not going to be able to get to them. Shall we try and do like 5 or 6 of them in the next 5 minutes? Because I asked everyone to get their questions in. Okay. So Aleko said Trent or no Trent. I'm a no.
I'm a no. I haven't got him. I'm not getting him.
I reckon I'll own him after a month, but for the first few games,
probably own him after a game.
Where else can we go for questions? I saw one earlier from Everything FPL. If you had to pick 2 City defenders, which 2 would you pick? I'm going to say Gvardiol and Ake if they're both 5 million because I want to save money, and 5.5 might be a bit too much for Stones and Diaz.
Gvardiol and Pavard when he joins.
Oh yeah, Pavard. he'll be 5 million as well.
5 million Pavard. I'm all over it potentially. Like we'll see.
Yeah, punter 2 picks out of Bruno, Rash, Jota, and Martinelli. I'd go. I mean, the 2 in my team are Rashford and Martinelli.
Yeah, I mean, Bruno is the club captain now. What does that bring? Does it bring a new need to show that he has to have better output? Does it mean that he goes overboard and gets even more cards? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what
It
it
means
means for
he's on
Bruno.
absolutely all the penalties rather than letting Rashford have a few of them.
Yeah, probably. Dallo or Ake.
Oh, I don't know if Dallo. I know people will say Ake's not nailed, and maybe you're right, but he'll start most games. Dallo might only start 50% because Wan-Bissaka's Ten Hag likes Wan-Bissaka in the more difficult games and some of the easier ones too, I think.
Yeah. I would at this moment in time I would say Ake, but by the start of the season that might have changed.
Yeah. It's one of those, if Wan-Bissaka had an injury, like Dallo, great, nailed 5.5 million asset with attacking threat, but not at the moment.
Yeah. If Salah smashes game week 1, would you be tempted to get him for game week 2? And how would you get there? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bring him in for game week 2 because I couldn't get there. And the only way I would be able to would be to firstly get rid of Rashford or Saka, probably Rashford because he's a bit more money, and then take a big hit in attack probably. So my decision to go without Salah is going to be pretty long standing. It's going to have to be, especially it's going to have to be certainly longer than 1 or 2 weeks because I've going to have to figure out how I would do that.
Yeah, fair point. Laurie says doesn't really want double United defence, but likes Shaw and likes Onana. So my question to you, Laurie, or I guess my reasoning to you is if Onana comes in at 5.5 million, he's the same price as Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw probably the better asset. If Onana's 5 million, then Onana's the better asset. So wait and see Onana's price. If it's 5 million, then you go Onana and Chilwell. Which are the two I think I will have in my draft.
Yeah, fair enough. Favoured formation for the season. I mean, at the moment, I'm in a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what most people are doing.
Too many good midfielders not to have 5.
Yeah.
Like, so many.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't get away from that at the moment.
Yeah.
No Trent, Eddie. We're team no Trent.
Yeah, we are team no Trent. But I do see a world in which after a few weeks I'm panicking to get him in.
Yeah, well, we need to see it's played out properly, don't we? Let's see. Like, there's plenty of pre-season to be played so far. You just said he was playing actually as a midfielder yesterday, which, if he's actually getting on the ball that much more and that up towards the final third, then it becomes much more intriguing to me than he was as a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly that. And Kunku or Jesus, I'd go Jesus to start the season. Bashu, thoughts on Maddison? He's a wait and see. And he was actually really poor for Spurs the other day. I think he only played the first half, but he didn't look like it. He's not.
I think it's going to take a while for Maddison to become an asset in this game.
Yeah, swerve. And also, it's a lot of money. Like it's Foden money. It's not far off Martinelli money. He's 0.5 shy of Martinelli. Like, find the extra by Martinelli. Yeah. Cool. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Loads of likes came in at the end. If we get to 100 in like the next 5 minutes after we go, that'd be amazing. If you're just joining us, go back and watch the last hour. Bill has just said, like, fantastic show this evening. I think a lot of you have probably enjoyed it. We stream live, guys, not for the views, because I promise you, if we weren't always live, we'd be getting higher views, but we do live because we want to engage with you guys. We want to build what we think has got a really loyal following and part of the Chaser family. So every week, if you hit that alarm bell in advance, you'll be notified when we do go live. And sometimes it's usually Monday and Friday, anytime between 6 or 7. But sometimes it will be a Thursday. On Monday, I think it will likely be 7, but we don't always know in advance. So do hit that notification bell. And we'll see you very soon with a special guest on Monday night. If you were watching earlier in the show, you'll know that guest is. If you've just joined, then you've got to go back and watch to find out who that special guest is. But for now, next time we've seen Dean, he'll be stateside. So he's been Dean, I've been Gianni, and we've been chasing Green Arrows. See you later.